For the latest information regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/coronavirus.
Hi everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm Larry Little. Last week the state introduced a blueprint for a safer economy. Here you can see the website. We're going to take a look at it quickly. What the state did was introduced a tier system where different counties fall into tier systems, which allow for some businesses to reopen, and of course some cannot reopen at this time. And here on the website, if you want to find out information, of course Q&As here, FAQ here on the website, but also if you want to find more information about your county, you can go here. You can see we're purple, which means we're at a widespread. It's going to get better, I have confidence. Put in Santa Clara County, and you can go through and see which businesses are open, which businesses are not allowed to be open at this time. And one huge positive note, that one thing that happened this week, hair salons and barbershops were able to reopen. So a very interesting website. Todd is here and we're going to be discussing the new tier system from the state, also answering some of your questions that have come into us via email as well as to our call center. Thanks for being here, Todd.
Absolutely.
So let's just talk first. I see a lot of businesses can open with modifications. What is the modification?
I believe that what the modifications are referring to is going back to our actual mandatory directives that we had posted many weeks ago. So the density requirements, submitting those social distancing protocols. So what we currently had originally planned to institute is now really going more into full effect after we had hit that stop immediately from the state. So those are the kind of modifications those businesses who are allowed to open at this time should expect, is to really make sure that they're following their social distancing protocols, submitting their social distancing protocols, as well as making sure that they follow their mandatory directives.
So what are some of the businesses that were allowed to reopen?
So the big ones right now are hair salons and barber shops, as well as indoor malls. Indoor malls are allowed to open up to about 25% of their maximum capacity, and hair and barber shops are allowed to open up to their capacity, and their capacity is consistent with our density requirements that we are instituting on our social distancing protocol.
And I know we're going to get this question, but you can see here gyms and fitness centers can only operate outdoors as they have been doing before, and hopefully that changes. Of course, it changes with the tiers. Are there any new restrictions for the businesses as they reopen?
So the only restrictions that we really are pushing right now are what we have on our mandatory directives for those very specific sectors, as well as those restrictions that have been in our health officer order, and whatever the social distancing protocols are requiring businesses to do in order to operate. So those are the restrictions that we are requiring of those businesses that are allowed to open at this time, which includes salons.
And let's talk about nail salons, because they are not able to operate indoors.
No, at this time, nail salons are still required to operate outdoors. However, once we get out of this purple tier, when we get into the red tier, nail salons will be allowed to open again for indoor operations. Now, with those indoor operations, they would still have to follow, like I was saying before, our social distancing protocol and our density requirements and limitations.
All right. So if a business is operating outdoors, as barbershops were doing and nail salons, but let's focus on barbershops.
Yeah.
They were operating outdoors before. Can they continue to operate outdoors and inside?
That's a very good question. So barbershops and salons may be able to operate indoors and outdoors. We're encouraging people to contact their city to make sure that they're still going to be allowed to operate outdoors. What this will do, if they're allowed to do so, is maximize those services they need to do inside the facility and still provide those services that they can provide outdoors. But in order to do so, they should check with their city to make sure that their regulations are currently still in effect.
Yeah, I know some people say, why would they want to still operate outdoors?
Yeah.
But a lot of hairdressers and barbers have said they don't feel safe actually operating indoors right now, so continue to operate outdoors.
Absolutely.
And they can check with their cities. So it's been several weeks since the last reopening. Where should I go online to find all COVID-19 guidelines and registration forms for reopening?
Yeah, so businesses should go to sccSafeWorkplace.org to see all the resources we have currently available for businesses. That includes the directives, that includes links to the social distancing protocol, and also businesses can fill out their social distancing protocol online at covid19prepared.org.
So let's talk about that for just a little bit. Just because you own a hair salon or a barbershop and the state says, okay, you can reopen indoors, you just can't open up for business as normal. You have to go through
Correct.
And fill out the paperwork
Correct.
and submit that information to us.
Correct, and I know there's a lot of confusion right now about that. We started with this risk mitigation order and plan and framework, and then we had the state come back and restructure things, so we're really ramping up again to go into that direction of risk mitigation. So we still have the social distancing protocol that businesses must fill out in order to operate, and that'll guide them as to their safe operations.
And I want to say we did remove our face coverings prior to this segment, so everyone, including the ASL, American Sign Language interpreters, can clearly understand and properly communicate the information that we are sharing today. And we get tested often, and I want to move into that testing question. It says, should the employees working in my salon be tested on a regular basis?
Yes. So now that hair salons are open, these employees are going to be exposed to people on a very regular basis. So we are encouraging those employees to be tested monthly in order to make sure that they can really track and mitigate the spread of COVID-19. So again, they're now considered a frontline employee, so they should be tested at least once a month.
All right. Are we able to advise customers refusing to wear a mask that we cannot provide service to them? And also, can we refer them to your website with COVID-19 guidelines?
That is a question we do get a lot of, is like, can I refuse service? Can I, what kind of restrictions can I put on customers and so forth? Well, this is a little bit more of a tricky kind of scenario. So customers are required to follow our laws that are currently in place for mitigating the spread of COVID-19, which is, social distancing, wearing masks, not leaving your home unless you're, absolutely meet those criteria that need to happen. But for legal advice, we are pointing people in the direction of actual legal counsel, as they're more fit to determine what course of action legally a business would be allowed to take at this time, especially when it comes to refusing service and those rights, because I know we all see those memes that are on social media right now of people getting pushed out of businesses. And I know a lot of business owners don't want to have to be that aggressive or firm with their customers. They really hope that people can come in and follow the rules. So we are encouraging people, if you are going to visit a business, please make sure you're maintaining your social distancing and wearing your face covering, and please follow the rules that those businesses have set in place to protect you as well as all the other members we have in our community.
All right, question here from a business owner. If one of my employees tests positive for COVID-19, what should the rest of my staff and I do? And they're also asking, should they close the business?
Yeah, so they do not necessarily need to close their business for a very long period of time. They should close their business for the amount of time it takes for them to properly clean and sanitize those suspected and affected areas. So if you do have an employee that tests positive, please make sure to contact the county within 4 hours of finding out of their positive test result. And then also make sure that you go into those procedures to identify as many close contacts, if not all those close contacts that that person had been in contact with. And all that information as far as procedures and guidance is on our website at sccSafeWorkplace.org.
And I know a lot of businesses will still have questions as we navigate the reopening of a lot of businesses that have been closed in the county. And we have a business call center.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a business call center that is regularly manned and staffed to make sure that we are available to our community, especially our businesses as well. And you can contact us at area code 408-961-5500. We are operating that line from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. please don't hesitate to call us. We have a lot of very educated staff, well-trained, that are ready to provide you with an answer. And if for some reason we don't have that answer for you immediately, because things do change, as we see with the state, we will take your number and call you as soon as we have the best answer we can provide you at this time.
Also, we have where you can report or share your concerns.
Absolutely.
We have a site you can go to, and Luis is going to put that up
Yes.
on the screen. So many numbers and
I know.
websites that are coming up, and it's very difficult to remember. I know people are going to have other questions, but I'm going to post the link to the state's website in the post for this Facebook Live, so you can go to their FAQ, and a lot of your questions will be answered there. I know some will say, what happened to the county monitoring list? Can my school open under this blueprint? So all of those questions would be answered there on the state's website in their FAQ. But one thing I want to talk about, Todd, is the county has some control, but it looks like the state has taken control with this tier system. So a lot of what we are doing here is based on the permissions given to us from the state.
Correct. Absolutely. And I know with our community, there's going to be a lot of confusion. There's going to be a phase of transition, because now we have the state really kind of providing universal guidance for California and a framework for us all to follow. So we will have times where the state may be more stringent than the county, and vice versa. And as always, we tell people to please follow the directions that are the most stringent at this time. And again, if you have questions, you can contact 211, or you can contact our business call center line at the 408-961-5500 number. We're more than happy to help people kind of get some clarity and understanding, because there's going to be some confusion moving forward, especially once we start transitioning through these colors and tiers.
And speaking of colors and tiers, a lot of people say, what do they mean?
Yeah.
Minimum is better, and purple, let's just say it needs improvement.
To say the least.
So it's higher risk there for the purple, which our county is in, and it's based on the rate per 100,000, excluding prison cases, 7-day average with 7-day lag, and that's testing positive for COVID-19.
Absolutely.
So it's in our hands to make it better and move it to a different tier, and hopefully we get to yellow very soon.
Absolutely. And I think that what people need to really focus on is that there's a lot of things that will become available once we get out of the purple tier. You know, indoor dining at 25% of a capacity, nail salons, massage therapy studios are allowed to open indoors as well. So those are the guidelines that the state is providing us at this time too. So how do we get there? Well, we get there by making sure people are regularly getting tested if they're frontline employees. Also, if you've been exposed to a positive case, or if you are experiencing symptoms, get tested. If you're regularly using public transportation, get tested. The state has already provided a statement saying that those counties that are providing a lot of tests, which is who we are at this point in Santa Clara County, it's not going to necessarily negatively impact us for the amount of positive cases. They're taking that into consideration. So because we say test 1,000 people and only have 25 positive cases, that's very different from, say, a county that only tests 100 people and have 25 positive cases. So please make sure you're getting tested, especially if you're having symptoms, and especially if you're a frontline worker, and especially if you're a close contact. And also, when you're out, make sure you're social distancing. Also, make sure you're wearing your face mask. And also, if you are a business, make sure to maximize the amount of employees that can work from home, because that is mandated in our order. And I'll say it again, because I think this is a very, very good point. Make sure that if you are a business, maximize the amount of staff that can telework, because it's how we also mitigate the spread of COVID-19 in the workplace.
So Todd, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I searched 6 counties to find somebody in the yellow, and I haven't found anybody yet. So what's a county that's probably in yellow?
Oh, if you go back I can tell you red. So yellow would be, let's see if we can find the actual map. And I believe you had it.
Let's see. Let's just go back to the beginning here.
So what is open? We click here. And who is currently in the, wow, they are taking you to different sites. So the farther north right county right now is in the yellow. I do not know who that is. I want to say it's Shasta County.
See, everybody's in purple that I'm pulling up.
Try Shasta.
SH.
There it is.
Let's see. Wow, there we go.
I know my geography.
So moderate. So this is next to the yellow tier.
Correct.
Correct. So let's look. Let's go to gyms for them. See, so day camps can open with modifications.
So alphabetically, if we keep going down to gyms and fitness, I believe EF. There we go.
Yeah, can open indoors. So if we get tested, if we practice social distancing and follow the protocols and things get better, we can move into this.
Absolutely. And once we get into the red, actually for gyms, because I'm concerned about gyms, they can open indoors for a 10% capacity. So yeah.
All right, sounds good. All right, thank you so much, Todd.
You're welcome.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, everyone. We will see you back here on Friday at 10 a.m. for Facebook Live. Facebook Live in Spanish comes up at 11 o'clock. And, of course, we have Facebook Live in Vietnamese at 10 a.m. on Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.
For the latest information regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/coronavirus.